Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina, Collier, candidate engagement author and speaker. I'm of course joined by my gorgeous co-host, Audra, employer branding genius. I can't tell if you're purple. There's too many people on the screen today. There she is, purple hair wearing, amazing, all-round human being. Today we are super excited to be talking to Billy and Adam from Candidate.ID. Welcome to the show. I don't feel like you guys need an introduction, to be fair.
Nah. Thank you for having us. We are really privileged and delighted to be here.
Even if there are words you can't say.
I'm very surprised you guys aren't wearing like a shirt or anything. There's no branding. What's the deal?
We just haven't got around to it. We're too busy like actually building an awesome product to actually worry about branding and stuff like that. So too much.
We're not heavy. Everybody thinks that we're like some sort of heavy sales machine, and we're really not.
We're just good at talking about what we do.
We talk about subjects and better ways of doing recruitment,
and we just talk about it better than anyone else.
So who is Pipeline Pro? Who is that in the side channel hiding behind two strange words?
That's a fun name.
Yeah,
not me.
No, not me.
Is that like a pipe cleaner?
It's Chris Raw.
Chris Raw.
Chris Raw.
How can you tell?
He's such a troll.
Don't you find the whole branding thing a bit naff though, when it's just like constantly in your face? Anyway, Audra, or do you?
Myself? I mean, I think what all of us have is that there's so much marketing. It's so oversaturated. People are getting sick of it. They're tired of seeing things in their face. So it's definitely stick out more. You have to be more clever for get attention, for sure.
My view is that, and I actually said this in a presentation yesterday, the future of employer branding is not about an employer. It's about learning and how they can teach you and how they can help you be better. I believe that branding in general for any kind of product or service should be useful and relevant first, and selling something well in the background. So that's why we lead. I mean, we absolutely lead with sharing things we hope are going to be useful and relevant across lots of different channels, lots of formats, and every single day. But it's all. I mean, there's never any. We're brilliant, or our product's brilliant. Come and look at this. It's got to have some kind of substance to it, or we don't hear it. We don't really do it.
So how about we tell a bit of the story though, like how you two. I know you're both sources from old, and actually you were just saying, Adam, that you weren't the world's best recruitment agent, which is quite funny. But why don't you tell whichever one wants to go first, like your story of how you got to be where you are now with Candidate.ID.
Well, I'll just do a quick bit of background, and then Billy can do it. And Billy, maybe you can explain how we actually met in the first place. So, I was a recruitment consultant for 3 years. I filled a lot of jobs. From my boss's perspective, I was pretty good at it. From a candidate's perspective, I probably wasn't great because I would have ghosted most of them.
Recruiter guys saying
the bit I enjoyed most was always the talent attraction bit. And so back then it was pretty limited, but it was like lineage adverts in the back of the newspaper. And that was pretty much all I could do. But
what year are we talking about here?
Well, 1999 till 2002. That's when I did that.
God, the world's changed, hasn't it?
Oh, the world's changed a lot, but
16 years. Wow.
I'm a writer, and I've always been a writer. And in the 20 words that I was allowed to put in the lineage adverts, I could absolutely make the most of those 20 words. And so that was the bit I enjoyed most. I also enjoyed. I named myself King of the Franking Machine because I sent out one hell of a lot of mail shots. And I enjoyed doing that as well. I enjoyed testing what works and what doesn't work. And so I joined a recruitment marketing agency, big international company called Havas. I was there for a couple of years, worked in HR consulting at PwC for 3 years, and then started a research and sourcing business. And that's the point when I met Billy.
Yeah. Audra, please tell me that's a joking question. Do you not know what a franking machine is? Oh, they were the coolest thing. You'd take your letter and you'd scan it through and it'd put the postage on it and spit it out, and you could put your little branding of your logo and all sorts on it. Wow, that's really funny that you don't know that.
Maybe it's called something different over here.
It's how we used to send out spec CVs before we actually had email servers that could deal with high volume. So
yeah,
we used to have a target of 200 spec CVs a week, and there used to be a queue on a Friday for the franking machine. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Surely did they put the postage like stamped onto the envelope? You didn't have something like that?
Yeah. No, it was Audra. All right.
Oh right. We had to put ours through. It's been a while. That was in my agency days though. Wow, how interesting. I love Karen Turner's comment here. I didn't know mail shots were analog. That's so cool. What about you, Billy? How did you end up in the world of recruitment? Obviously you planned a career move.
Oh, totally. I mean, from the age of a toddler, you know, I was always dreamed of working in recruitment. It was my life ambitions were met in 2005 when I started recruiting IFAs and mortgage advisors. Absolute pinnacle of my career. But no, I fell into it because I did accountancy, bizarrely, at university. Wasn't, probably far too much personality to do that as a long-term career. Apologies to our accountant who's sitting right in front of me.
Now you work in software.
Now I work in software, but what I was very good at in recruitment was how to use technology actually, and to actually get we use our system at the time, our CRM at the time, and the best way. I was good at measuring success with the limited amount of reporting that we actually had. So, what sending times worked for mail shots, what text messaging worked, and all that kind of thing. So that was always the stuff that I was really good at. And then kind of fell out of love with recruitment actually for a bit. Went in, worked as a project manager for a Microsoft partner for a bit of time. Went into employability, which was an interesting experiment to go and work with long-term unemployed and that type of thing. Appealed to my socialist tendencies a little bit, but then met Adam, and I then
in the employability queue.
No, I
in the pub.
I can't. It was probably through LinkedIn. I can't actually remember how. Yeah, it was. I think.
I think I met you online somewhere, Twitter or
something like that. Yeah, I was probably swearing on Twitter about some fucking thing or another.
Well, you are from Scotland, so.
And we, so when Adam started the sourcing business, I came and worked with Adam, ran the sourcing business for a bit of time. Took a sabbatical, as Adam calls it, went to work for an agency as a marketing director, and then in that period of time, Adam started Candidate.ID, and it appealed to me because throughout the years, the big thing for me was always, our cost of candidate acquisition, was always a one-off cost. We were terrible in agency, and all agencies are the same. I've never met an agency that does it any differently. Are terrible at reusing their data. I felt I was better at it than most, and then Candidate.ID took that concept a bit further. So I came back almost, that was nearly 18 months ago, a bit longer than that, but had done some advisory board work with Adam beforehand, and then we're now running. We're now and doing really, really well. We're having good fun. It's not we're doing some absolutely brilliant stuff, and actually, do you know what? Getting out of the agency world was probably the best thing that I could have done, and it's just tying up nicely my love of marketing, my love of technology, my love of recruiting. So,
what category do you guys put yourself in? It's not exactly a recruitment marketing platform. It's not exactly a CRM. What do you call it?
I'm not allowed to say that.
Oh, okay.
I love you.
So I would say it's in its own category, complete. Its own. Is that what you think you'd say?
See, this is the for the sake of the podcast, listening back, Adam might have a few words he's not allowed to say on the show, or I might kick him off. Just because I don't like human beings called talent, even though I have to use those words periodically.
So it does its own thing. It's just nothing like the others would say.
Audra, the answer, the serious answer to that is there is nothing in recruitment that does what Candidate.ID does, and we keep getting compared to recruitment CRM, but it's not the same. So the main difference is that Candidate.ID is tracking and scoring each person's interaction with your content across a broad digital footprint. And what that means is you can filter your candidates according to an engagement score, and you know who to pick up the phone to. There's some other USPs as well, but the main difference is it knows a lot more about the people on your candidate database than, say, a CRM does. So that's the big difference. And it means that companies are literally changing the shape of their recruitment teams. And I'm talking about internal teams and recruitment agencies. So there's one recruitment agency we work with who've got 24 people in the business. And this like 2 years ago, they placed 144 people. The following year, they placed 206 with no additional headcount, just because they're able to see which candidates they're able to, they should be picking up the phone to. And Clint is an example of the type of product that we get compared to, but it absolutely does not do anything like the same kind of tracking. So it tracks email opens and it tracks activity around a careers site, but it doesn't track anything on social media or a variety of other different places as well.
It just sits over a CRM, doesn't it? Like it could work with the CRM, is that right?
It could sit on top. It could sit on top of it could sit on top of an applicant tracking system, or it may sit on top of a CRM. But it's unlikely that somebody would have a 3-tier tech stack. Yeah. And so, quite honestly, we are by June we will have CRM functionality, and we are creating. Billy's leading a project to create a CRM, Candidate.ID CRM, and we're going to give it away for free to anybody that wants a recruitment CRM. Because the magic is not in the CRM, it's in the ability to do the things that our main product does. So it is different, and there's nothing I would compare it to. Audra is the answer to that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But how do you know if they're over there on Twitter, or can you cookies for that, or?
You use custom redirect links, and anything that you share on Twitter or Facebook or wherever, you send it out through Candidate.ID and unique tracking links, which are automatically populated on that post, and the link from there gets tracked.
Got it.
So we cookie on landing pages. We cookie on the big one for us is the employer's website, because if you take Employer X, one of our clients, one of our big retail clients, the ability, one of the big things for them is the ability to identify when a candidate that matches their criteria is actually active on a job, and we notify their recruiters when a candidate who matches the criteria that they're looking for from their database visits one of the jobs. They get an email notification, so immediately they can, in real time, they're getting a picture of who's live. It's not there's so many.
They pop up like one of those pop up going, "Hi Katrina, talk to us."
No, because that's
freak me out when that happens. Hi Katrina, welcome back.
Yeah. It could.
That'd be right creepy.
Yeah.
I love that feature. I love that feature because it's brilliant if someone hasn't touched your career site in months, and then all of a sudden they're checking out a job. Boom, you can give them a call, and then you could either tell them you're stalking them, or you could just. That's
the thing. So Katrina has thought that Katrina's thought that we've been on a mission to try and make sources redundant, and that's absolutely not what we're trying to do. But what we are trying to do is absolutely eliminate the need to be cold contacting people, and that is the biggest waste of time. It's the biggest inefficiency within recruitment. Whether you're an agency or you're an in-house team, because 80% of people, according to LinkedIn, are not in the market for a job opportunity. Therefore, you go and do your direct sourcing, you go and find 100 management accountants, 80 of them are not in the market. You don't know which those 80 are. You might have some great skills and be able to convert 100 of them, of course. You might. It's quite unlikely you'll convert 100 of them, but most people are not in the market. Therefore, they're probably not going to want to have a conversation. And we want to be able to tell recruiters who looks as if they're ready for a conversation and who looks as if you should just keep nurturing them in the meantime.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
That's fair. I think most people on LinkedIn are quite inactive anyway. They're just over.
They are, but that's the thing,
But I agree with what you're saying.
So only 25% of people log into LinkedIn once a month, okay? But how often do the majority of candidates check their email, their personal email? That's a simple fact. How many people will read a text message? Everyone will read a text message. when it comes through.
Yeah, that's what the highest, it's like 98% or something response rate.
Yeah, it will change as we start getting more spam. I can see that going down as we start to get more and more spam and those robocalls. Oh my God, I hate those.
Oh yeah, I had one. And I was sitting there playing with it for my own amusement. And then suddenly I'm speaking to a human being who I went, "You're an asshole," and hung up. That was very rude. Sorry. I did. I was like, "Don't ring me about my car accident. My car accident was 30 years ago and it wasn't my fault. So do not ring me." And so I just had a car accident.
Yes, yesterday my Social Security card was suspended 3 times.
Is that what your robocalls are about?
Yes. Well, they're all
wow.
My latest.
They're awful.
Oh God.
I mean, that's why I still don't think. I mean, you think at the whole there are still tellers in the back of the teller machine. Some people want to go self-checkout, some don't. That's why I still think, I love your idea, you know who's active, but there's still got to be that human that gets in contact with them.
There absolutely has to be, but there's another aspect to this which is really important, and that's when I started in recruitment, candidates could see my 20-word lineage advert at the back of the Glasgow Herald, and then they'd have to make contact and have a human conversation with me at the very beginning of their journey.
Yeah.
Which is why I ghosted so many candidates, because I knew they weren't right and I just didn't have the time to talk to them. And today, however, those candidates don't need to talk to me until they can find out what that organization is all about. They can find out what the hiring manager's like. They can find out what the coffee tastes like. They can find out what your inside leg measurement is. And they don't need to talk to a recruiter until they've done that self-directed research. Yeah.
And actually, Wendy gave a great example at Disrupt HR, or both Edinburgh and Glasgow. She was talking about that thing of how, you know, we'll go and order our Uber and we can decide if we want to chat to our driver or not, and, you know, whether they're worth the rating, and we can cancel and rebook. And then on the way home, we can order some food. Like, we're looking at all of the information, and it's just, why wouldn't candidates do the same thing? So why not feed them what they want to see?
We're human. Humans are social creatures. However, we do not want to talk to somebody who's got an objective to sell us something until we're ready. That's why we don't go into travel agencies. That's why we don't go into car dealerships until we've decided.
But we used to.
We had
really
to.
changed.
We had no option. We had no option.
But it's also shortening the experience. Okay, so you know, if you look at like what Just Eat, you know, have done, or what Deliveroo do, and all that kind of stuff, what it's doing is it's taking the normal steps out of what we actually had to do. So you know, Just Eat, okay, I would have traditionally, when I want a takeaway, I would have to phone the restaurant. I'd have to have a conversation with that person. It's not even that they're trying to sell me something. It's just another step that I have to do. I have to ask. I probably don't have a menu in front of me. I've got to ask questions about things, you know, and then there's the wait and the delivery time. There's no transparency over the delivery time. So, you know, what these services are doing is you know, just basically bringing the consumer closer to the end goal. And actually, I think we're missing that in recruitment. I think what we're missing is the thing that brings, you know, tightens that journey up, and that's something that we're really doing. Actually, that, you know, what we're actually doing is giving the candidate to go at the time. We describe it as a holding pattern quite a lot. You know, I'm trying to move away from our normal cliches so that a bingo doesn't happen. But you know, you've got candidates in the holding pattern. You know, it's like Heathrow. They're up there. They're circling around.
You can say it. You just have to say there are people in your pipeline.
So I say people, right?
So people in the pipeline's fine. You're just not allowed to call it the.
But then, see, when
I think what you're doing is you're giving it the transparency and the certainty. Because we now have transparency, we've got that from the internet, and we want certainty. It's like I say, I can stand there at Blackheath Station and it tells me exactly where the train is, exactly what time it's going to turn up into the city. It's amazing.
That's cool.
I'm just going, it never used to do that a couple of years ago. So we expect that for everything, don't we? So
complete and utter transparency, and getting to the right person, you know, immediately knowing who the right line manager is. If you do want to become a candidate, if you want to move from being a person into a candidate, everything, you know, that we do has got a clear call to action. You don't have to guess. You don't have to, you know, this is a person who you need to speak to, or this is the email address, or this is the, you know, it's all really transparent and upfront.
So how are the clients about that? Because I still see the autoresponders that say thanks to the talent acquisition team, because they're really scared that somebody might call and talk to them about the job. Because they've got so many requirements, they couldn't possibly take the 1 in 100 candidates who'll actually pick the phone up.
Well, that's just bad communication. That's just applicant tracking systems giving you templates of what to say to as an autoresponder.
Oh, no. There's an attitude behind it. There is an attitude behind it of I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah, no, there is, but you also have to bear in mind. So you also have to bear in mind that you've got maybe in a company like a Dixon's car phone, each recruiter's got like 40 recs, and it's a well-known FTSE 100 company that they probably get, each recruiter is probably getting 200 applicants coming to them every single day. They couldn't fill any jobs if they were talking to all these people. They simply couldn't do their job. So they have to filter in some way. Of course, there's an elegance to it that most businesses don't get right. And
yeah, but let's not talk about high volume. Let's just talk about regular volume. They're also doing it. They're also hiding. And so what I'm asking is, how do you get the clients to switch into? You said that they can work out who the hiring manager is. So how are you getting the clients to be transparent?
For the clients who don't want to take that responsibility, and you're right, there's an attitude problem. I agree with that. There's I shouldn't have to provide service. Candidate. There's still a candidate as a commodity type attitude sometimes, which is infuriating. If clients do want to work in a way that that takes away that personalization, though as well, the way we work with them is that we make it easy for candidates to let our clients know that they're interested in a vacancy by one click. They can, with one click through on an email or a landing page, that sends an alert to the recruiter that they're interested. But the reporting then that we give to the recruiter means that they can at a glance identify who the candidate is, what their job title is, and whether they should, effectively whether they should be speaking to them or not. But actually, it doesn't impact on the level of service that the candidate's getting, because we set up personalised autoresponders that as soon as the candidate hits that, then they can either immediately or within a duration of time get a reply back. And this is one of my biggest frustrations within recruitment. There are some really piss easy steps that employers can take. Candidates just sometimes want an email, right? Candidates' expectations of the recruitment industry are so low that actually if they get an email back, that they're delighted about that. So just do the basics. It doesn't cost any.
But an email with a bit of manners, not like the talent acquisition team, hey, if you're not right, we're going to file it in the bin, which is pretty well what they all say.
Transparency, Katrina, exactly what you said earlier. Come up with a transparent message, tell people what will happen and what might not happen. Send it from a named person. The basics. Just really, really simple stuff here.
We are absolutely all about, and this is another thing, that there's a misconception that technology impacts negatively on candidate experience. But of course, technology doesn't forget to call somebody back. Technology doesn't ghost somebody. And so there's a bunch of, if you get your technology working right, you're going to be able to deliver a much better candidate experience. But very specifically, one of the things that we're doing about that is, and it's because of our USP around really rich tracking and scoring, Candidate.ID understands that Audra likes content about skills in a video format through email, whereas Katrina likes content about industry insights in an infographic format through WhatsApp. You're going to get a different experience.
That's actually not true, but loving your thinking.
You could be in the same group, the same candidate group within Candidate.ID, and get a completely different experience, which is a better experience for you, a more personalized experience. And you can only do that at scale using technology.
And that's like the whole book, my whole book, which you guys are in, as you know, because I told you, is use the technology to support the human contact, which sounds like you guys are doing exactly the same thing, which is good.
No, absolutely. Audra, the answer to your question is yes.
Oh, can we read out the question? Sorry, some people listen to the podcast,
So Audra's question is, do you integrate with the ATS so that the interaction scores show in the ATS? And the answer is yes. We have an open API. We can connect to the applicant tracking system. It could be a light touch connection whereby their score sits on their profile on Candidate.ID, or it could be a full bi-directional sync with information exchanging every 10 minutes, including the candidate interaction. So what that might mean is that they only need one login, single sign-on. However, with the bigger organizations that run Candidate.ID, it's getting run either within a sourcing team or within a recruitment marketing team, and the people filling vacancies may never actually go onto it at all. They might just be the recipients of hot leads coming in either through their ATS to them to march for their attention, or into their email or into their Slack or something like that.
So John has a question here under the question thing, which relates to Audra saying, what did you get? 1,500 applicants in 6 days. So could Candidate.ID be used in co-op? I don't know what it means. Co-op or internship hiring process to help Audra's situation?
Oh, yeah, internship.
Candidate. Oh, okay. What's co-op?
I think that's something like internships.
All right. That must be some weird Canadian thing. So could Candidate.ID be used in co-op or internship hiring process to help Audra's situation?
Yeah, because what you do is Billy, you go for it. You're the customer experience guy. You go for it.
Go, Billy, go.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I've got a client just now who does this, right, because they can't deal with the volume of applications that they're actually getting. So they've actually got a 2-stage process here. What they've got is the application stage, and then post-application, the nurture after the application, and then they start to engage with the people who are highly engaged after a period of time afterwards. Now, they're not what they're not doing is blanking. They get about 1,000 applicants per hire. Okay, they're not blanking the people that they don't hire. They're not blanking the people that they don't engage. They're actually giving a really good level of service. They're not considering every person for the job. What they're doing is just sending out nurture content to everyone who applies, and then using ID score to then decide who they should actually be speaking to. But then the good thing is that the rest of the applicants are still getting brilliant service, because and this is the thing, it's, they're still getting good content. They're still left with a really, really good impression of the brand. And in this situation, they're going to be future hires, because they're keeping in touch with them. They're going to keep in touch with them throughout the career. So it's
Why do they get so many applications per role? Do you think maybe they're doing something wrong there in the first place?
It's a big brand. It's a high volume US brand. Really, really big.
Is this entry level career, like graduate level? Right.
Yeah,
okay.
very, very low level, or early careers level rather than low level. So, but now the candidates, rather than being pissed off because they're not even, getting any response, they're actually left with a really, really good impression of the brand. And that's a different use case, and it's one that I'm going to use with clients for normal vacancies as well, and not just early careers or anything. If they're getting high volume. So if we look at contact center, some of the brands that we're talking to for contact center, they're still getting a high volume of applications. So why not, start the hiring process? Okay, we encourage our clients. We want them to pipeline further in advance for people. We want them to start talking to people 6 months in advance. But even if they go, right, we know we're going to be hiring, or we know that we're going to make a vacancy live in 4 weeks. Start the process 4 weeks. Take them through that nurture process, and then talk to the people who are engaged after 4 weeks.
Do you think that? Sorry, go ahead.
I really struggle. I get all this, and I think it's awesome, but I struggle with the people that are the most engaged. Doesn't mean nothing about the most qualified. They might be really engaged because they stink and have work for a reason.
So the only people that you would want to nurture are the people that have got the right job title, working for one of your competitors or whatever it is. So, as an example, if you're Grant Thornton and you're hiring tax people regularly, you would put every tax person that you've got details for in from PwC and Deloitte and all those into Candidate.ID, and you would nurture them. You would not put the economist who applied for a job as a plumber, or the plumber who applied for a job as an economist. You wouldn't put them into Candidate.ID. So it's not like an applicant tracking system where it just accepts everybody in. You may well have to come into Candidate.ID. If you are going in from the public web, then you might have to answer some questions, do a bit of progressive profiling, and show that you are a relevant type of person.
And we've got advanced searching within Candidate.ID as well, that means that the campaigns can be set to only go to people that are matching criteria, so that as long as any recruitment technology platform is only as good as the information that you're able to put in or able to collect. It's shit in, shit out. So if we've got the right information about a candidate, if we know that a data scientist is actually a data scientist and not a brickie, then we can make sure that only the data scientists get the right campaign content through our live searches. So you can, it's like you can only work with the data that you've actually got, and that is one big challenge, by the way, that it doesn't matter how many times we run new onboarding campaigns. I've never once in my life doing either my life with Candidate.ID or when I've been doing database implementations and recruitment businesses before, I've never seen a good quality database. There's always cleaning up to do. There's always crap, and that's another goal for me, certainly with working with our customers, is to make sure that the people that are within the database are actually people that should be there in the first place. Where we're talking to a big publicly listed agency at the moment about a new project that they're doing. They've got tens of millions of candidates within their database. If I can get that database down to 500,000 people, that's a result, because those 500,000 people will be engaged. We know that they're valid. We know that they're compliant from a data privacy perspective.
How do you know they're valid? How do you know they're valid? You have to give them how do you know?
Well, their email addresses are, because the way that we work in this process is we won't keep, if people don't actually open and engage email address with email content or text message content, you shouldn't have them on your database. You should actually get rid of them. So we will keep, in all likelihood in this project, we will only keep the people who are actually engaged as part of it, because it's going to be a longer term project, probably over a 4 or 5 month period. If someone doesn't, sorry.
I bet that scares them, because they think it's quality, even though it's not. Oh, but I've got 2 million. I can't possibly have 500,000. Yeah.
It's nonsense, and GDPR was one of the best things that happened, because I think a lot of people actually went, do you know what? If someone isn't engaging with content, should I actually be keeping them? No, you shouldn't. Get rid of them. Just clean, keep it up, and focus on developing relationships with people who actually want to read your content.
Billy has a meeting on Monday with one customer of ours who has a stale database of 8 million that they want to do what we call a Waking the Dead campaign with. So over a 6 to 8 week period, you put them all, run them all through a nurture campaign, and anybody that's not reacting, delete them.
Love it.
Yeah, I think that's neat. But
Can I ask you a question, Katrina?
Yeah. Is my dog sitting on my lap? Yes.
No, I did know that. But could you just explain your problem with the word talent?
They're people. They're
Not
people.
necessarily.
Everybody's people. Like, it's just horrible. Why are we calling them talent? I hate all of the words that we use. I just hate it. I think it gives recruiters an excuse to just not treat them as a human being, and to forget that there's a person behind that application. There's this misconception in high volume that somebody just went banged and applied and didn't take an hour to tinker with their CV and check it was okay and write a covering email and send it in. They didn't have a thought process and a feeling and an emotion that went behind that application. So from then right through the process, and it's like we have different words all the way through, what we call the human being with the emotions and the feelings who really wants the job. So I get that you're calling them talent, but I don't like the thought of humans being in a pipeline either, if I'm honest, but I get it's the most logical word for progressing people along to a hire. But
it's just about practical management. And so if I'm Pimlico Plumbers, I am constantly hiring plumbers. An economist to me is not talent. A plumber is talent. If I'm an economic consultancy, a plumber is not talent for me. An economist is talent for me. So I don't think it describes humans. I think it describes the types of people that you would want to hire. So I think that's what it is. That's why I would use the word talent.
Oh, you want to talk about the fact you won that big award?
Oh no.
We should. Let's bring it up.
Why? I want to have my rant about my word. This is good. I actually quite like this. It's really interesting to hear Adam's point of view of that, and I understand what he's saying. I guess they're relevant people that you want to hire, but my problem is across the board, both sides. Recruiter reputation is not great because we're not great. The people that hire people aren't great at treating people well. So this has become a huge problem. So I would just like us to remember that the talent is people.
Oh no, absolutely. I do agree with that. But the thing is, I think it's a distinct word from people. I think it means something slightly different. I think the word candidate, however, is a bit different. And so we got, like Jerry Crispin said, I'm not sure I like the name of your product, Candidate.ID. He said he loves the product and he's never seen anything like it before. But he said, I'm not sure I like the name of it. What candidate to me is somebody that's at a certain stage in a recruitment journey. And I said, I don't think that's the case. I think everybody is a candidate until they retire. No matter what you're doing, if Barack Obama or one of your heroes taps you on the shoulder and says, come work with me on this project that's going to do whatever it is you want to do, that's going to be the most dream thing for your life, you're going to do it. Everyone's a candidate till they retire. That's my view on that specific term. But I understand why it creates a bit of controversy.
We disagree on that. I mean, that's one of many things that Adam and I don't. We agree on a lot of things, but we disagree on a lot of things as well. And you know, the word I detest the word candidate, and a candidate, a person only becomes a candidate when the person chooses to become a candidate. Do you know that is my view. A recruiter doesn't make that decision.
It's
the
not
person
them that
makes that decision.
It's not them that chooses.
Yes, it is. You can't determine, Adam, whether you become a candidate for. The recruiter can't determine whether you become a candidate. They can't force you to become a candidate for the job.
I agree with that.
So
Billy gets in touch with me about a role directly. He sources me, finds me, talks to me about a role. When I say I'm interested, I become a candidate. Then there's the other way, is when I proactively apply. I'm an applicant until then the recruiter looks at my application and goes, yes, she's great, we're going to progress her, then she becomes a candidate. So there's two different, depends how it starts.
Okay, so my view on that is I could become I feel like I am a candidate to be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Nobody else does, so I am not one. So I'm not a candidate. So my view is I could be a candidate to be the next CEO of Hayes. I'm not a candidate. I'm not a candidate because they don't consider me a candidate. So if I consider myself a candidate, I don't think it makes any difference. I see a bunch of people.
I do, Audra, because it's the dehumanization of the. It's all the words we use, like a resource, a capital, all of them. It's all of them. Can we just call people? Anyway,
I would like us to have some.
There are no unicorns on this show, Karen Turner. We've banned unicorns. What? Anyway, can you tell us about the big cup so we can get you? You're the greatest in the world, and you've got the best technology out there ever. Yeah, can we just get the rah-rah over?
You mean this big cup here?
Yeah.
That's big one.
Where's the other one?
It's heavy.
The other one.
Gotta love them. We love the way they pay their speakers. Right, yeah. What's that? Can't read that one.
Unleashed?
So that was Unleashed, that rubber word.
Yeah.
And then that was the hiring success. Where Scott McRae, our Chief Operating Officer, did a fantastic job on stage in San Francisco.
Yeah, that would have been quite nervous in front of all those.
Which was.
How much did you pay him? Just kidding.
Like the old recruitment agency awards. Oh God, it's spring used to win them because we'd completely pay for it. We know you guys didn't do that. Adam. Don't take offense.
All independently judged.
We're teasing you, Adam. Adam, we're teasing you. We know damn well you deserve it. Don't take offense to that. It's the social recruiting show. It's not politically correct.
Definitely not.
We know damn well you really deserved it. I think you deserved to win Unleashed as well. I think that came down to just the day, didn't it? You ran her up, didn't you?
Yeah, no, you get to be honest, my objective was to win the recruitment stream, which we did. That was the only objective, really. And then the next day, if we got on stage on the main thing, that was a coin toss, really. I mean, the guys who won the guy's presentation was great. What they do is great, but there's absolutely no comparison with what we're doing. The two things are serving entirely different purposes, and so it's quite difficult. It's difficult to judge. All I wanted to do really was make sure that we won the recruitment. That was more important to me. There was 52 companies in the overall competition, and 32 of them were recruitment. So it was, by far and away the biggest category.
Awesome. Yeah. Congrats.
Very cool.
What's next? You're going to take over the rest of the world, or what's the plan?
I'll tell you what's next. So Billy's working on the redevelopment of our product right now. It's going to simplify the product slightly. Plus, we create a it could be a standalone CRM product as well, which we're going to give away for free to anybody that wants to use it, whether they're a Candidate ID customer or not. And then the next thing is the generation of self-building campaigns. So as of today, you want to create your campaigns, your nurture campaigns on Candidate ID. You got to go and find extra content every week and add it into your different workflows and your different candidate journeys. But what we have planned is that Candidate ID will send you an email once a week and say, next week's content is ready for review. And the recruiter or recruitment marketing person or sourcer or whoever could just click through on the link, see all of the additional content and the additional journey that some machine learning functionality has put together. And it'll take the time to create campaigns down massively. So it'll further make this whole thing about candidate nurture much easier.
That would be amazing. If it works well, it would be really sick. Awesome.
Well, Billy's in charge of that as well.
What are you doing all day, Adam? If Billy's doing all
wait a minute. Billy's doing everything.
giving him
Adam delegates.
I do videos on LinkedIn and give Billy instructions.
You do the former, you don't do the latter. So the massive advantage that we've got right about the way that our platform works is that in a compliant way we are gathering tons and tons of data about how people behave, and that for me is that's a big geek out for me personally, and how as a recruiter and a marketer I can then use that information to then improve the service that candidates are getting. It's flipping what we're doing is flipping it on its head, so that we're thinking about what the people want and not actually what the recruiters want. So we're doing a lot of work around data. We're going to be taking some staff on over the summer to help us out with some work over the summer to help that will tie into that machine learning roadmap. We're working with the Scottish Government. We're working with some other agencies around that as well. So there's tons and tons of exciting stuff that will come to fruition at some point over the next 18 months around that. But again, it just comes back to its core. We're thinking about candidates. We're thinking about people. We're not making assumptions. We're not doing what recruiters want. We're learning from actual behaviour.
I was just thinking about what, in actual serious answer to your, what am I actually doing? Everything I came up with, however, all of the things that I came up with beyond my LinkedIn videos, everything else I've actually handed over to, we hired a chief financial officer. Who started with us in February, and I've kind of handed all those work streams over to her. So, one of the reason I mention this is because a couple of things I am quite excited about. We are by this time next week we should have confirmed a little bit of investment from somebody who's based in New York City, and that's going to enable us to start to take the USA a bit more seriously as a customer market. And then the other thing is, in April, we are doing a small crowdfunding, and we're going to be making, I haven't said this anywhere to anybody, this is the first time I've said this outside of our business, we're going to be making that available to people in our industry. So not the public, but people that are working in talent acquisition and recruitment marketing and sourcing and things like that. They'll all have the opportunity to subscribe for shares in Candidate ID. And it's not really a money-making exercise. It's actually more so because we want people to feel like they can share with us what they want us to be doing and solving, and vice versa. So it's a kind of community link building thing.
What are you laughing at?
That lack of
my bad description of what, my really bad description of that.
Oh, except
but
Steve
actually really,
well put, Adam.
It's a really good idea.
Is Steve drinking the Kool-Aid? Is that why he's written that?
Steve still works with you guys, right?
Yes.
Well, I hope so. He only just joined us.
He never comes on any of our shows, so he's only come on because these two. She's strong, you Steve.
How big is the team now?
There's 23 of us.
Yeah.
So there's 23 of us. We still, and actually most people don't realize we've got 3 revenue streams. We do content and marketing. We do content and recruitment marketing. We do sourcing, and we provide software. The first 2 services really we mainly provide to users of our software who need a little bit of assistance in order to get up and running in that first sort of 6 months or so. So there might be businesses that have got absolutely no content and they need help with that in order to run the product. And then there's other businesses who have got all the content, they know how to run the product, but they actually don't have much of a candidate database. So we can help them with that as well. And so we still do a lot of things that we've done on the sourcing side. It's something that I absolutely love. We've done it for 10 years now.
How did you say you help with the content? I might have missed it. I'm sorry. But that's always a struggle for recruiters, getting the content.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So we create content. So if somebody I'll rephrase. We create light content like infographics and things like that, and blogs and that kind of content, and I guess white papers and things we'll create as well. We have a small team inside the business, but we've got a panel of over 30 independent writers and content creators that we work with. They're all subject experts on different industries and things like that. And we also do quite a lot of, within Billy's team, they do quite a lot of what I would call content curation. So pulling together a company's content and also pulling together third-party content to lay out candidate journeys without necessarily having to create much new things except for email copy and maybe kind of bridging copy on landing pages and things like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's always a struggle with any recruitment team. So sometimes they have, and they just gotta dig it out. But it's always a problem.
Audra, that's the most important thing. So we've got a sample kind of content map that we share with our customers, and almost all of it is content they don't really need to create from scratch, because most companies have got an internal learning and development team. That content can all be repurposed for nurturing talent. Most companies have B2B content or investor relations content, or their CEO, might do some interviews and those kinds of things. They're all, you can take any video on YouTube, put it within your landing page frame and make use of it. So you just have to find the content. And some of the best campaigns I've seen are campaigns where there's very little original content that's been created. It's just the way that they have positioned that content.
The people, the thing, don't overthink it either. Adam's hit the nail on the head there. I'm thinking about like product and service literature and that type of thing. The best, we ran a campaign for a big not life sciences or science organization during the week, and the reason it's worked really, really well, and we've got great engagement, and the reason why is because we've actually just talked about some interesting stuff that they used for sales and marketing literature. And it's stuff about the product and about the work that they're doing and the advance, what's working in their industry and what's not working. That's the stuff that works. It's people want to know what problem you're solving first. It's kind of simple. We overcomplicate things all the time. Just keep it dead simple. We have our methodology when we're helping new clients, new employers with us is keep it simple. That is the first thing I say during our onboarding calls with them. Don't overcomplicate it with employer branding.
And the other thing is that actually, if you agree with, LinkedIn says that 80% of people are not in the market. They don't care about an employer brand and they don't care about job descriptions and they're not interested in that. But what we know from our data is they do like things that are going to help them with their career. So things that are useful, relevant, skills, industry insights, that kind of thing. Yeah. So
he's talking about what conferences are going on, all that stuff.
No generic interview tip content. We've got enough of that crap.
No, we should have more of that. I want to see more shit advice on how to write an email template for recruiters. That's awesome. I'm a man of that's out there. Anyway, sorry, just went off topic.
What to wear for your interview and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness!
Hoodies, just stick a hoodie on. There we go.
I was talking to this gorgeous girl. So she came to Disrupt HR Glasgow. And this gorgeous girl, she's a graduate, recent HR graduate. And she has been told by her lecturer that she must wear a skirt and high heel shoes to her interview. And I went, what?
I know one international recruitment agency there's a couple of countries in Europe where in this international recruitment agency, they've got a policy on what females wear to work, not males, what females wear to work, including the specific shade of tight they're meant to wear.
Fuck that. Yeah, exactly, Debbie. What year is this? Mary Palmer, tights have shades. So you mean they're not allowed nude? They have to wear black or something? Is that what she means? They're not allowed. Yeah. Beige number 3.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they're not to be too dark. Is actually it. They're not to be too dark. They've got to be a lighter.
Rubbers.
Hey.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, even Virgin Atlantic now have done during the week. They are now getting rid of these shitty, antiquated policies. You know, it's like in the airline industry has always been one of the worst for it. But oh god.
Did you kind of get it because they want it to be really obvious that this is your steward or whatever they're called these days, on the plane. I kind of get it slightly more, and I'm a little more relaxed. But to just tell this girl for that kind of a role, oh goodness. Anyway, bless the cotton socks.
This is a big global top 20 recruitment agency, and they're effectively saying to their female recruitment consultants, "You need to be sexy."
Yeah.
That probably works, but it's a bit naughty.
It does work, but it's a disgusting way of, using your people.
Was it that was saying that because they're a woman, they call and they get better responses to candidates? Someone was saying that they think that's great.
I absolutely did in my technical recruitment days.
Yeah,
that's
agencies have always agencies have always been majority. The agencies I've worked in have always been majority female, and I've always thought that women do make better recruitment consultants because of that. Because men are simple creatures, basically. So.
For those who are listening to the podcast and don't understand why we've all lost the plot, we are now having this side channels going off about what colour shaded tights or a pantyhose, as some of you might call them, is sexy. Yeah. So and then it's worth coming on the live show. See the comments.
And what to do with your bank robber? That was killing me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, please be rest assured, I'm not wearing tights. I've got my holy jeans on. So
I've just got jeans on, as I always have jeans on. Like I live in jeans. I had to buy a dress to speak in Kuwait because I'm like, oh my god, I can't speak in jeans. So anyway, next week.
Can I just quickly tell you something? Just really quickly tell you something that I got a LinkedIn invitation. So now this whole sex sells thing. I mean, it's true. It absolutely does, and it does work. It's not ethical, but it does work. And so a simple example of that is we know for a fact that when you send out emails to people, if it's a female name, it gets more opens than a male name, right? We definitely know that. But there's companies that have started to take this concept a little bit far. And I got a LinkedIn invitation from a very, very beautiful female who described herself as a software developer. And the invitation message said, "Hey, Adam, I hear such great things about Candidate.ID that I wanted to connect. I offer unwelcome advice, god-awful conversation, and tequila shots to drown your frustrations out. Could we connect and start with a bump?" Right? So obviously, I just did a right mouse click on the picture and found that it's a model. So it's not a real person that they're using for this.
Yeah.
But this is a small company. Of 15 people.
Yeah,
and they're trying to get me to connect with this girl because I might get to meet her and do tequila shots with her.
Jeez.
That's wrong.
Did you
I haven't
Anyway, on that note, I'm going to say what next week's show is, which is kind of funny. Sorry. So I'm not here next week because I'm going to SourceCon, so I'll be in Seattle. So Glenn, who is currently in the side channel, is covering for me, and with Audra, we'll be chatting to Christopher Kurtz about, this would be perfect, Glassdoor reviews, etc. How to handle reviews, which that company is going to end up with, aren't they? So that company is definitely going to end up with them with that kind of approach.
Oh, yeah. But it's going to be about good ones and bad ones, because some people just only deal with the bad ones, and so I think it'd be interesting and what to do with it.
Definitely. Has Adam frozen?
No. I'm just reading something, and I'm just going, that's cool. You've got Glenn coming on.
Glenn Martin, yeah.
Recruitment dude Glenn Martin.
Yeah, he covers for me all the time. Bless his little cotton socks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's good value. He and I used to work together back in the toxic environment that was Spring Technology recruitment. That was I miss those days. Anywho, we're out of time. Were there any final things? Did you just want to show the trophy one more time, just in case we missed it, or anything else that you'd just like to? You didn't feel you got to say other than talent. I want
to talk in a bit of detail about talent pipelines and talent demand generation.
Hey, time to go. Thank you, though. Actually, it was really lovely to hear more understanding of the product as well. So that was very cool. So thank you very much for that. Side channel, thank you. Oh my goodness, you are on fire today. Appreciate that. So Billy, Adam, thank you again. Have a fabulous weekend, one and all, and everyone else. Well, yeah, you guys will be there next week. I won't. I'll see you the week after. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.